Yo, too, I got a major problem, man.
What?
Yo, you know how I moved out to the farm a few years ago?
Yeah.
Man, it's an old rinky-dink house. The roof is falling apart. Siding's coming off the wall. Man, you got anybody I can call?
Dang. Actually, I know exactly the person for that, for roofing and siding, and they can do your house, residential and commercial work.
Really?
Yeah, they're called Horizon Builders. They're started by local Hmong guys here in the Twin Cities, and they're your go-to guys.
Really? Hmong owned too?
Hmong owned, Hmong operated, and bringing value to Hmong people when it comes to reconstruction.
Hey, that's awesome, man. Yeah, because this is something I definitely don't want to DIY.
All right, so I'll get you the number, Horizon Builders.
Yeah, please do. So if you guys have any work that needs to be done on your residential house or commercial building at all, make sure you hit up Horizon Builders. They're a newer company, and they're out there doing a lot of great work. And we're very grateful for them for sponsoring us and just allowing us to kind of continue the work that we're doing here. So thank you.
Okay, for sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, cool.
All right.
We'll get things
You
rolling.
good?
All right, welcome to another episode of the Nonke Podcast. Today we are here on July 4th weekend with a very special guest. Johnny Lowe is in the building. You guys might have seen him at Myth yesterday. He was
Yes, sir.
performing.
Yes,
And he's
sir.
got a couple performances today in a little
Yes,
bit here,
sir.
so we got to
He's
get
got
him in and
multiple
out.
performances today.
Yeah.
Sunday, still got a couple. Tell us real quick where you're performing today.
Yeah, so right after this, I'm gonna be going over to the J4 tournament, and they have their first Hmong music festival. It's by the beer garden. That's called the Zhongxie Music Festival, hosted by the boy Petey Rock. And yeah, just super excited because they have a really really good lineup, and for people to be able to come and see you perform at the tournament too, like that's really cool because I have
Yeah.
like a whole set.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
who's all up on the lineup?
So today, I believe Zongvi is performing. Art is performing. Surprise is performing. I think like New Song is performing. There's quite a bit
Wow,
of people.
yeah.
There's so many new Hmong artists now
Yeah.
that are like out there and active, and like
And
everybody's
super
got their
talented,
own
too,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
For sure, man, for sure.
Y'all got a big group. I mean, that's cool. Y'all got a like a legit community. I mean,
Yeah.
there's always been that singers community, but I feel like now you guys are stronger than ever.
Yeah.
Like as far as
Yeah.
like it's like it's from like young to old. Like
Yeah.
there's generations too now.
Yeah.
So-
So how did you get your start in music? Because you're not from here in Minnesota, right? So you came out here for the weekend to
Yeah.
perform. Tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so I'm from California. Born and raised in Stockton, California. Represent Stockton.
Stockton, yeah.
So yeah, pretty much how I got started. Honestly, like it was just something that I picked up as a kid.
Okay.
Like my earliest memory. I'll just kind of try to make it short. But my oldest brother was getting married.
Okay.
And then three of my brothers, my older brothers. So I'm in a family of 9. I'm
Yeah.
the youngest.
okay.
So
Okay.
7 boys.
Dang, the youngest
two
of 9.
girls. I was the youngest of 9, and 3 of my brothers, they were planning a performance for to sing at my oldest brother's wedding.
Yeah.
And back in the day, like we didn't have like a laptop to listen to music to. We
Yeah.
had to go out to the Previa,
Yeah.
and then put in the CD or
Yep.
the tape player and listen to the music and practice that way. And I originally wasn't gonna perform with them because I was only like 4 or 5 years old.
Okay.
But I remember very vividly just sitting in the back of the Previa with them when they were practicing. Uh, and I remember one night they stopped practicing because I think they like took a break to go eat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they left the car running. They
Yeah.
left the car running, and I'm like this 5-year-old in the back.
Yeah.
But and the music is still playing, right? And I'm singing the song. I'm singing the song that they sang. My first song that I ever learned how to sing, which I'm very proud of saying, is "This I Promise You" by NSYNC.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
so I
yeah,
grew up-
classic. Yeah,
I
yeah.
grew up very cultured in that sense.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
Of that style of music because that's what I grew up on. And then they came back to the car and they're like, "Wait, are you singing this?" And
Yeah.
I knew like the lyrics and everything. So
4 or 5.
yeah, I was
Very
like,
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one of my brothers dropped out of the performance, so they were like, "You know what, Johnny? Like we're gonna have you perform with us, but we're not gonna tell anybody.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a surprise. Like
Yeah.
they know that me and Chris are performing, but they don't know that you're performing,
Yeah.
right? So you're gonna surprise them on the day of, and fast forward to the wedding, I did surprise him on the day of.
Yeah.
I was like this little kid in a big old tux,
Yeah.
and I had the microphone in my lap, and I was sitting in the crowd,
Yeah.
right? And I had the first verse. So my brother, they had the part the ooh,
Yeah.
da-da-da-da-da, and then when it goes,
Ooh, look
when
at
the
that.
visions around, that's when I got up. I started walking to the stage and
Yeah.
singing. Bro, my oldest brother, he started bawling, bro. If
Man.
we have the wedding footage, I would love to like post it up on YouTube, but it's on like VHS. So
Yeah.
I gotta
Okay.
get
I was
on
gonna
that.
say
There's a way.
there's gotta be
a way to
footage
do
of
it.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
a way.
footage. There's footage.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
gotta get on off like a converter for from VHS to
Yeah.
like a video file.
Just
format,
have it
but-
playing on TV and record it on your
Yeah,
phone.
so I mean that's
So,
how I started.
yeah.
I would definitely say my brothers had an influence on me as far as like
Yeah.
me listening to music. But I'm really the one that like took off with it because I
Okay.
fell in love with it. And
Are
yeah, I've
your
been doing-
siblings pretty musically gifted as well too, or
yeah, I would say like I
you
would
don't
say,
want to
like,
say nothing bad about that?
No, I would say like two of them
Yeah,
yeah.
are musically sound. But I'm the one that really just sparked a passion for it.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm the one that really like took off and ran with it and just kept on singing, learning more instruments.
Yeah.
The following year after that wedding, my sister-in-law's sister got married, and I performed at her wedding, and that was
Yeah.
my first time doing a solo.
Yeah.
And that video is actually on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys want to clip it, I can send it to you guys. And you just
Yeah,
put, like, a little
definitely.
clip
Yeah,
of it.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'll clip it to you guys. But yeah, I mean, I just started.
So early on you get like kind of used to just being on a mic in front of people and kind of performing, because performing is a comfort thing, right? Like
Yeah.
like I think when you've done it once or twice and then you see that people like they vibe with you and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, and so you get that pretty early on. Then it sounds like you kind of figure
Yeah,
out
there
early on, like
was-
I like doing this.
Yeah. There was a lot of gratification that I found from performing and whatnot too. But I think all in all, my love was just for the music because I
Yeah.
just love to listen to music and to sing, and that gratification from the crowd or from the audience is just an extra. It's like a bonus.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just makes me really feel like happy when I did music, even as like a little kid. Like
Right.
Yeah.
no training, just
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
all by
Raw
ear.
talent. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
all by ear.
what's some
So-
just I don't know how old you are, so but like what were the, let's say, junior high school, like because those are kind of the
Junior
years that people
highs,
start to really remember songs.
Okay,
Like junior high, like who you kind of listening to in your years,
junior
high
during
school, like
my
who's
years?
that you were listening to a lot
Okay,
that influenced you? I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, for junior high, that's like middle school.
Yeah.
Um, so middle school, I mean, it was a lot of Neo,
Okay.
love Neo. I mean,
Yeah.
love like the three modern, R&B kings, which is like Usher, Neo, and Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go. Because
yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, Chris Brown was
Yeah.
huge back. So how
Yeah.
old are you?
I'm 29, man.
Okay.
Oh, you're a baby. You're
Yeah.
young. You're young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
yeah.
kind of the
That's
same
young.
generation.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's old because around my group of friends, I'm like the oldest.
The oldest.
Oh, are you?
You're still the youngest of all your siblings
Yeah,
out of
I'm
nine.
old.
So
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
the
Yeah, I
the
think I do
young-
feel old with around my friends too, because I'm the first one that had like a kid too. So like,
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
I was gonna ask you about that because
Yeah.
we've interviewed a few artists, and
Yeah.
a lot of them are they're like young, single, good looking,
Yeah.
still out and about.
Yeah.
But so, how do you? I'm assuming you're married.
yeah, married.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're married. You have a kid.
Yep.
How do you manage like this lifestyle where you're going out on every weekend, doing shows,
Yeah.
performing, and then how do you manage that with your kid and wife essentially?
I mean, it's definitely not like an every weekend type of thing.
Okay.
I think I strategically planned my music releases even when my wife was like pregnant. when
Okay.
she
Yeah.
was with child, because I noticed that like, okay, you know what? Like when the baby's actually here, I don't know if I'll be able to like
Mm,
grind it out in the studio
Right.
and the right,
Right,
stuff, right?
right.
So in the year that in the 9 months that she was pregnant, that's when I was like really grinding. Like
mm,
I was like, all right, let me finish like 5, 6, 7 songs,
Yeah.
so that way I can just drop it whenever I want to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like whenever the momentum's high, right, and drop a song, right?
Yeah. How
Uh,
did she feel about that?
She honestly, she's the one that pushed me and drove
Good.
me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the reason why I started doing music again.
Okay.
If it wasn't for her, I don't think I would
Oh,
be.
so you had a period in time where you kind of just slowed down, took it
Yeah,
up,
I
put a
mean,
pause button.
yeah, dude, my pause button was for like 8 years.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well, you
yeah.
think
Yeah.
you just lost some inspiration there, or you just like didn't like
Um,
music anymore, or
Not
just life
it
took
was.
you somewhere else?
Yeah, I think life took me somewhere else, but I think I was more trying to focus on just my stability long term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes
So I
sense.
focused on my college career, and then
Okay.
eventually getting my career job.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Because growing up, my parents, they instilled the importance of education,
for
right?
sure.
Right.
And also, with my older brothers, like being the youngest out of nine, they always kind of told me, they're like, you know what, like music is good and all, but it's good to keep that as your passion, but don't make that the main thing until you
Hmm.
know you have some sort of stability, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I took I took their message to heart. I really just focused on school, and just trying to get my career. But in those years that I took off, I really feel like I was. I like to tell my friends I've been dry aging. I've
yeah,
been
Yeah.
dry
Yeah.
aging
There
for
you
like
go.
8 years.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
So the product would be
Yeah.
even
Yeah, yeah,
better at the
Yeah.
end.
like
Yeah,
although I haven't like released any music or like written any originals or like performed a lot, like I still be performing in my room.
Yeah.
I still be writing whenever I find that you know um, that inspiration, right? But I just never released anything out yet.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I think with a lot of the music that I released within the last year, I think it really surprised a lot of people
yeah,
Yeah.
because they've also told me that like they've seen the growth, right?
Mm.
Because the last time I put out music was like 2016. That was like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So at that point in my life, like I was very like immature musically as far as not
Right.
really knowing where my lane was.
Yeah. Because you were probably 21,
It's
right? 8 years ago.
2016,
Yeah.
8 years ago. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
21.
21, 22.
yeah,
21.
yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
21, yeah.
Very
So
different mindset.
I was not really knowing where my lane was. I was trying things that I probably wasn't skilled enough to try, right? But those years that I took off, I was really able to just kind of focus on the main thing, the important things, career and stuff like that too. But I also listened to like a variety of music within those years, and really was able to find my niche where like I feel like, okay, you know what, like this is my my comfort zone of
Yeah.
music. But um, I like to pride myself in versatility for
Okay.
music because I grew up, like my first song I ever learned how to sing was "This I Promise You."
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you asked me about junior high school playlists. I'll be honest with you. In junior high, I was listening to like a lot of punk rock.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
No,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I asked that
like
because I always want to know where your influence comes from.
yeah,
Like what kind of
Yeah.
music influenced you growing up. Like, so now you say punk rock. Like who is that? Like, is that
like
Blink? Is that Green
yeah,
Day? Is
yeah,
that
like
Sum
Blink
41? Is that
182, like Simple
Good
Plan,
Charlotte?
yeah,
Stuff
Yeah.
Good
like that. Okay,
Charlotte,
okay.
like
Well, you and Two's lane.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This
I was
is
a
this is
skater
Two's
kid,
world.
so-
yeah,
Yeah.
red jumpsuit apparatus,
okay.
like yellow card. I love Boys Like Girls.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
that
Yeah.
was one of my favorite. Um, We the Kings. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I listen to everything.
How does
Yeah.
that influence your music now? Because I would say like you do have like a R&B.
Yeah,
Because when you said like Chris Brown and them earlier, that made
yeah,
sense. But then when
yeah.
you throw in the punk
Yeah, the
rock,
punk
like
rock
I
stuff,
haven't,
it's a
I
little
guess I
diff-
haven't really heard that in your music now.
Yeah,
Like, do you-
I mean, I haven't made any punk rock songs yet. The
Yeah.
closest things I've made to like a punk rock song, which would honestly I feel like because that style of music is not as popular as it was before.
yeah,
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 that's
yeah,
true.
But
yeah.
that sound
We're,
vocally,
we're making our way back.
It's
around,
coming
I feel.
back.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
MGK and stuff. They're
yeah,
kind of coming
Yeah.
back with
but
that
but
style.
that sound vocally is making its way or has made its way through EDM.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
yeah,
Because you have there Boys Like Girls just released a song with Said the Sky, and Martin from Boys Like Girls, and with his vocals on an EDM track. It's like EDM as far as like future bass and stuff like that. You just kind of take away like the punk rock part of it, and you add in the electronic elements,
yeah,
right? So it's essentially like rock music, but with like electronic
With a
elements.
faster
Yeah.
beat.
But
Yeah,
like the
it's-
same vocals, you know.
right.
Yeah, because I always say like, I think one late vocalist that would have killed it in the EDM scene, Chester Bennington from Linkin Park. His
Okay.
vocals, he would have
Yeah.
killed it on the track. But like, if he did a track with like Skrillex or something,
right.
Yeah.
he would have killed it.
Is
you
that
know?
something you potentially are looking into in the future of combining some of that punk rock and the EDM sound?
Well, I mean, I've kind of already have.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I released one of the first songs I released this year was a future based song. And they like to categorize into like the sad boys,
Yeah.
the sad boys type music, like Illenium,
Yeah.
Okay.
Slander, William Black, Nurko. Yeah, so I released a song called "Losing You for Now,"
Okay.
and that was like my first song that I had in like the EDM space,
Yeah.
and it received a lot of good response.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you enjoy that though yourself as a creative?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I enjoyed it so much. The moment I wrote it, so I'll just give a quick story of how that song came to be. So I was dreaming. I was asleep. I was dreaming, and it was about like I don't know, probably like 2 a.m., almost 3 a.m. And in my dream, I was singing this song, right? And it was like a bomb song, right? And in my head, I'm like, you know what? Like, if I don't wake up, I'm gonna forget all this.
Yeah.
Right. So I forced myself to wake up. Right. I forced myself to wake up, and I recorded this voice memo, which was the chorus to my song. Let me.
So waking up from the dream, from the sleep. Yeah.
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 Like it's kind of cringe because like I just woke up.
It's the start. Yeah.
Creative process.
Yeah.
Let me just go to the
So you heard that in your dream. That's pretty incredible, though.
this part right here.
Tell me okay. Tell me okay.
Yeah, and then that turned into
The song now,
Yeah.
that turned into this. After many iterations of
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
No, but that's
Yeah.
cool to hear the process of like
Like the creative process of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
because
then
it's
to
so
hear
random
it,
like
yeah.
that.
To hear-
that's honestly the best part about like
Yeah.
I can't really speak for like like actual artists like
You're an
or-
actual
or-
artist,
No,
come
no,
on,
I'm talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
like painting artists or
Oh,
like
okay.
dancers,
Right,
Yeah,
right,
people of
right.
different art styles, right?
You're,
Yeah.
I don't know
talking
if they
singers.
get that same like random spark of inspiration and they just start creating. But for a songwriter and a musician, like I get the weirdest inspirations at like the weirdest times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So
they're
how
just
do you
random.
prepare for that? Like, do you always just have your phone at the ready, like voice notes ready, where you're like, okay,
Yeah, I mean, in this day and age, you have your phone everywhere you
Yeah,
go.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
like, if I'm in the car and I'm just like humming something, I'm like, oh shoot, that sounds like kind of like a banger. Let me just,
yeah,
you know.
So where is it like which spaces seem to draw the most creativity out of you? Like is it in the shower, when you're driving in the car, when you maybe working out? Like where are the spaces that you find commonality of like this is a space where I seem to always kind of get
Yeah.
creative? Or is it just really random?
sleep.
It's really random, man. Like
Yeah.
there's, I've spoken with some other music artists about like these kinds of experiences too. Like even like when I'm on the toilet, like sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Oh, shit, I
Anywhere.
just
yeah,
felt
yeah.
something like that. It's like a, let me just record this down
Record
real
it
quick.
for later. Yeah.
Yeah,
But recently, it's been more in the car. Like when
Okay.
I'm on the
Yeah,
way
yeah.
to the gym, I'll be humming some stuff or like just singing some random stuff. Or when I'm washing dishes,
yeah,
that's
Okay.
one thing that like one place where I just happen to just sing random stuff or just
Yeah.
like hum random melodies and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Speaking of gym, man, you're a big dude, huh?
I'm
You're
alright,
Trying to
man.
get in there. You
You're
trying
a
to get in
thick
there,
dude,
quote
man.
unquote.
Yeah.
I'm alright, man. Just trying to be healthy.
But it probably helps,
Yeah,
and being
yeah.
healthy as a performer, like y'all, it probably helps for real, like on the stage to have the energy levels
Yeah.
too. Like if
Yeah.
you didn't have the energy levels, like
Yeah.
people can feel it, right? When
Yeah.
we're the audience members, we can feel the energy that gets put out.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're in shape, it helps.
Yeah, I mean,
you
I
perform.
like to say I'm in a specific kind of shape of where like I can lift and stuff like that. But when it comes to like cardio, I'm
Yeah.
yeah, I
Not
get
your-
tired.
not
You
your
ever
thing,
find yourself
yeah.
like tired on stage, like
Not your
ooh,
thing.
just
Oh
trying
yeah,
to catch your
just
breath?
yesterday, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think yesterday after I kind of analyzed my performance, I need to learn strategically where I use my energy.
Where you use your
Mm,
energy, yeah.
Yeah.
And that also goes into like how I should plan my sets and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, if I have a song that is super demanding at the first song, I'm gonna be tired for the rest of the
Yeah.
songs, right? So that's kind of something
Game
that
planning,
Yeah.
the performance.
But
yeah.
I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should do some more cardio so that way I can
Yeah, just
like
Yeah.
withstand this and not be so tired.
Well,
Yeah,
for sure,
yeah,
it
yeah.
affects your vocals, right? Because if you're like breathing
Mm.
hard, like
Yeah, for
it
sure.
affects your
Yeah,
vocals.
you gotta do a lot of breathing and like a lot of Like, luckily, when we perform live with like performance tracks, um, we have a backing vocal track, which is the main vocal in your song, but we just turn the levels down, right?
Right.
Uh, and in some cases, some artists like to have the levels like where it's as if you were listening to the song on YouTube or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And that's where people, when you sing over it, people are like, "Oh,
Right.
he's lip syncing."
Lip syncing,
know?
yeah.
Mm.
Now, but when you have the backing vocal that's a little turned down, then it's just there to help you. Like if
Yeah.
you take a breath.
Yeah. No, because for sure, like if you truly listen to a fully, like if there is no backup vocals at all,
Oh yeah.
and like you're a performer, you're dancing, you're jumping, like bro, you're gonna start to hear him like wheezing and stuff.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
not enjoyable either.
Yeah.
You know, like we want to
Yeah,
hear,
exactly.
we want to hear borderline YouTube,
Yeah.
but then we
Yeah.
want to see you. I mean,
Yeah.
people demand a lot.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
demand a lot.
For
right?
sure, for sure.
People
Yeah.
want you
For
to
sure.
like dance but perform and still
sure.
sound like YouTube. It's
Yeah.
like, bro,
Yeah.
he's like running back and forth on
Yeah,
stage,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
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 And
That's
speaking
fun.
about performing at Myth yesterday, have you done a venue like that? How did that feel?
So I've gone to Myth many times just as like an attendee.
Okay.
In the recent couple of years, but I've never performed there.
Oh, that was your
Okay.
first time performing at the
Yeah,
Myth?
my first time performing at Myth, and it was I had a great time, man. I had a great time. The crowd energy was amazing. I really just vibe off of like crowd energy, and yesterday, like they were vibing, man.
Yeah, yesterday was
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
were
didn't-
vibing, man.
What a
Yeah.
great crowd too. Like, man, you talking about July 4th weekend,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
everybody from out of town
Yeah,
is
for sure,
here.
for
Like,
sure.
man, this is. I bet like the music fest is gonna be crazy. Like
Yeah.
in a
Yeah,
little bit here.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think with the music, the Hmong artist music, the Hmong music artist community, I think we've done we've served a very important role in as far as like preserving our culture,
Hmm. Oh yeah.
preserving
Oh,
our
for
language.
sure.
Yeah.
Right?
I always say you
Because-
guys like made it kind of cool again to like speak and learn Hmong.
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
yeah. And it's beautiful because like we get to take elements of music that we love, and when we create, adding that Hmong,
Mhm.
adding our Hmong languages to it, whether it's Hmong EDM, Hmong R&B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just like kutia anymore, like
Yes,
back in the day.
yes.
Well, I think
yeah.
early on, like at least for me, I didn't want to listen to Hmong music. I was like, man, that's like Goji
Yeah.
shit. And
Like,
then
outdated.
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
like there's like the era of like kind of I wouldn't name him, but I would say he has an influence where David Yang comes out, and then all of a sudden there's a
You
new
guys- you
style,
were
there's
from
a
that
new
time period,
generation,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
then now when I look at younger Hmong kids, like 14-year-olds,
Yeah,
high
yeah.
school, they be listening to that, and I'm like,
yeah.
that's awesome
Oh, yeah.
because now they're listening to Hmong artists,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it speaks to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, you speak about David, man. Like, he's the goat, man. He's a modern.
Yeah.
He's the modern goat, man. And that's
Yeah.
one of my best friends. Like, we grew up.
Okay.
We pretty much grew up together for like more than half our lives.
Is he
Yeah.
from? Is he from out there in Cali?
Nah,
or-
he's from Wisconsin. He's from
Oh,
Madison.
okay.
Yeah.
He's our Monk Drake. It's
Yeah.
it's a tough thing to say now in this climate, but he is our Monk Drake.
In this climate, you talk about Drake and Kendrick.
Yeah. So it's a bad time to be saying that, but I've always made that comparison where he can do everything. He
Yeah.
can sing, he can
Yeah.
rap, he's
And I'm
like
sure-
great
I'm sure-
vocals. Like
I'm sure if he was to hear that he was the Monk Drake, he would.
Take it as a
yeah,
compliment.
take it as a
Yeah.
compliment. Yeah.
He'd take
He
it
was
as a
yeah.
compliment, man.
Yeah.
I know he would.
Yeah. So is Drake coming back?
Is Drake coming back?
Can he come back from this?
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Okay.
For sure. You know what?
I don't know, man. You're a California guy. Maybe you got a lot of love for Kendrick.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I never really listened to Kendrick like that. I mean, no
Yeah.
pun intended.
Yeah.
Uh, but after the whole feud between Drake and Kendrick and the bars that he came out with, yeah, man, Kendrick is cold for
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
But
He's real.
I would still put Drake at
Yeah.
the top.
I'm a Drake stan. So yeah.
I'll put Drake at the top, man. Like, I'm not gonna use like the MJ LeBron comparison and whatnot too, but like, I'm gonna say like Drake is like LeBron. Like,
Yeah.
Drake is not MJ because people are gonna
Yeah.
argue that, right?
Yeah.
But if you could compare Drake to LeBron, people will because there's LeBron haters, there's Drake haters.
Yeah.
There's
Trust
not-
me, you gonna get haters just from saying all this. Because
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
every time we talk about music, every time we talk about
Yeah, I'm
this
all
type,
for it, man.
no, every time we talk about this topic on this podcast, it seems like when we make reels out of those,
Yeah.
they stir people because
'Cause-
music fuels people,
Yeah.
and so people got like people they love, people they
I'm gonna
hate.
just say this about the Drake and Kendrick, right? Like as far as the rap beef, Kendrick killed it.
Yeah.
But because of Drake, that's why you have the Kendrick that came
Yeah.
out.
He made the
know?
whole West Coast relevant
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Like you would not have the Not Like Us track if Drake didn't
Even
poke
entertain the
bear,
beef.
you know?
Yep.
And for all the J. Cole fans, I love J. Cole too. We understand why he
Yo,
backed
J. Cole
out.
got washed. I'm sorry, guys. East Coast, y'all are taking it hard.
Hey, J. Cole
Yeah.
somewhere on the
We
beach.
still love you, though. We still love
Hey, J.
you.
Cole somewhere on the beach, putting his feet in the the
Yeah.
sand, like
Yeah. So, all right. Can that model work between Hmong artists? I guess look, I don't want to be the freaking no jumper of freaking
Yeah.
Hmong music, right?
yeah,
so I
yeah.
don't want to I don't want to get into like names or like really talking beef, but like, can that model work in ours in within the Hmong community? Like, I guess like kind of like, can it be like a fun beef that can promote each other's music?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking like pretty much like about like Hmong dissing and like
Yeah,
Hmong
yeah,
diss
yeah.
tracks and stuff.
Does that
Yeah.
exist? Like, I don't hear a lot of it,
It
and from
does-
the outside
it does
looking in,
exist.
it looks like you guys are all pretty tight
It
knit.
does exist, not currently that I know of.
Okay.
But I do know if you search up a couple Hmong diss tracks on YouTube, I think within like the last 5 to like 10 years, you'll
Okay.
find some.
Yeah.
You'll find
Well,
some.
I was thinking to like the first. So my wife's been listening to the Kendrick and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm a business owner, so my first thing is thinking to
Yeah.
myself, it's like, okay, they just brought themselves back into relevant. I mean, they're relevant
yeah,
already.
Oh, yeah.
They're relevant already, but
Yeah.
this just, it was all I could see on my phone.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
the
yeah.
And so I'm
numbers,
like, okay, clearly from a business perspective, this is great. This is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That puts them back in the
Yeah.
forefront. So, and that's just me. It's a boring way of thinking about it, but it's a business way of thinking
Yeah,
about it. Like,
yeah.
okay, this stirs shit up. And so when you ask that question, it's like, it's true. Like, there's there's front end work what people see, and then
Yeah.
there's back end work what people do
Yeah.
to grow. And we don't have to expose any secrets anywhere, but
Yeah.
it's true. Like there's game plans to this stuff, right?
Yeah.
You're still an artist.
Yeah.
We own businesses. We understand that
Yeah.
there is game plan. Podcasting, there's a game
Yeah.
plan. Like
Yeah.
everything's got a
Yeah.
game plan behind it most of the time.
Yeah.
How far you choose to stretch it is up to you.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying. So it's a good. I like that you asked that because it's true. Like maybe it creates like some divide, but maybe it blows people up too.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, like controversy sells, man. Controversy mixed with tea,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that's what sells on reels, like
Yep.
you'll
yeah.
have, for example, like the whole Cat Williams interview, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
I watched the whole 3 hours, man.
Yep. Yeah.
Like they're not gonna put that whole 3 hours into a reel. They're gonna
Yeah.
splice up the where he's talking about Diddy, right? Where he's
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about
Yeah,
all
yeah.
these, where he's
Yeah.
like
That's
the-
what we
the
need. We-
highlights, So it's the highlights
Yeah.
that people show.
It was such a divide in the comment section for the Cat Williams interview, but at the end of the day, he was like the most buzzing thing for like
Yeah.
a week after that, and ever since then, he
Yeah.
came back to relevancy because of that Shannon
Yeah.
Sharp interview.
Yeah, but Shannon
Yeah.
Sharp
Yeah.
is the only one that he could have done that with, because Shannon Sharp is
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
chemistry
he let
thing.
him. He let him,
It's
and
a
he rolled
chemistry
with the
thing,
punches
too.
really
Yeah, it's a
well. He
chemistry
rolled
thing,
with
too.
yeah.
Timing, right? Timing, proper time and place.
Yeah.
So yeah, that worked out real well. So you're performing today some more, and what?
Mhm.
Like, I'm guessing you're partying. I don't know if is partying performing in the same token for you now that you're a dad and stuff like that? Is it kind of like in the
it's
same?
It's more of like business.
It's more
now,
performing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You
know,
perform,
like,
just go home.
yeah, perform and go home. But I think there's a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I'm performing with some of my Hmong artists that I haven't seen in a while, or that
Yeah.
I'm meeting just for the first time, and I'm trying to network and connect with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
There's that liquid, that
Yeah.
social lubrication.
Yeah,
the
yeah, there you go,
alcohol,
there you go.
right?
But
Yeah.
I feel like if you ain't vibing, is it even really fun? You got to vibe.
yeah.
I feel like if I was an artist, I would want to vibe
Oh,
when
yeah,
I'm there.
for sure, man.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
all
a
about the
party,
vibes.
It's
I'm
a
all about
party.
the vibes,
Yeah.
man. Whether I get a little intoxicated, or whether I'm sober,
Yeah.
I can vibe out regardless.
Is it hard to perform with too much liquid inside?
It's not for me. Like
No,
the way my body works is if I.
It makes you
if-
better.
I wouldn't say so. I think just
Yeah.
there's a
Just a
certain
little, yeah.
There's
The,
a
the
amount.
right,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
right
yeah.
level.
Yeah.
if I drink way too much, it's
Yeah.
gonna
Oh, it's
you'll
game-
see it in
yeah,
my performance.
yeah,
You'll
yeah.
hear it. And there's some people that can go crazy on the shots and
Yeah.
still kill it. You know,
Yeah.
that's not me.
Yeah.
That's not
I
me.
feel
can't
like
do
that would
that.
probably, that's probably like for each artist a learning experience too.
Yeah,
Of like,
yeah.
oh shit, I did that and that turned out bad. Don't do that ever
yeah,
again.
yeah. You
or-
kind of got to gauge where.
yeah.
Yeah.
And plus,
I mean,
not just that, but like you just performed last night. Now you're performing right after this. So imagine if you have a crazy night last night,
now you
and then
can't come out.
you got to follow up with performances
Yeah.
today. That's
I'm just being smart about my decisions,
go.
man.
Yeah.
Being smart about my decisions. You know, deciding where and when I want to have fun,
Yeah.
go a little crazy. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Because there's a balance. Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
balance. And
balance.
there's a, like you said, like a networking thing.
Mhm.
Whereas like, you know, the community of musician isn't on accident. It's
Yeah.
you guys have been very intentional about connecting with people, helping each other out,
Yeah.
and kind of like sharing what you guys can. So like I think there is an importance to like performing and then also just hanging out and
Yeah.
being a good hang, right? Because
Yeah.
if you just perform and go home and other artists don't get a chance to connect with you, you don't get a chance to
Yeah.
network with them, it can hurt your career, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Unless you're like freaking crazy talented.
yeah, I wouldn't say it would hurt your career, but you're missing out on opportunities.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautifully.
Because you're missing out on opportunities to meet and connect with these people that aren't like, especially if you're from out of state. Like I'm from
Yeah.
Cali, So if
Yeah.
I'm meeting artists that are from like Michigan or like Wisconsin, like the only time I'm gonna see them is if we get booked for the same event.
Right.
So definitely networking and just making connections and seeing that face to face with other Hmong artists that are grinding it out.
Yeah.
Because everybody's grinding it out.
Well,
so
y'all
it's-
share the same experience. You're
Yeah.
all on
Yeah.
stage doing your
Yeah.
thing. You're different people,
Exactly.
but you're sharing that same
For
vibe
sure.
in the crowd, which we'll never understand because we're just in the crowd.
Yeah.
We're just in the crowd, so we'll never
Yeah.
understand that point of view. But what we see is like we have fun because of the performances that you guys
Yeah.
put up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys share something like pretty intimate too. That like even though you ain't maybe
Yeah.
the best of homies, you're still y'all
Yeah,
doing
Yeah,
something
yeah,
guys
for
I
the
mean,
still
like,
community.
relate to.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you
creating
guys still
something
relate
for
on
us.
so many things.
There's a lot for us to relate to because
Yeah, exactly.
just
Yeah.
like when you're around like-minded people.
Yeah,
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
If you like going to the gym and then you meet a group of people that love to go to the gym, like,
Yeah.
y'all have something to talk about. Y'all have experiences to share. Same
Right.
thing about
With
you
the
know, with
artists,
music, right?
Yeah.
So when you surround yourself with like-minded people, you're gonna find a lot of similarities and a lot of things that you relate to, and these experiences that you can continue to build upon if you choose.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's definitely an opportunity to connect with other
Yeah.
artists.
Yeah. Do you ever feel the need to? Because you said you're in Cali.
Uh-huh.
Do you ever feel the need to like move to Minnesota to kind of be more involved with the music scene?
No,
I don't know. Is there music like? Is there like you guys probably have your own movement
yeah,
down
there's
there,
definitely
right?
a music scene in Cali for sure. But everything is so remote now.
Yeah.
That like, for example, one of the songs that I did with one of my good buddy Jim or James, song that he produced, and we did a remix with Pat Beat.
Yeah.
Pat Beat was in Thailand when he
Yeah.
when he hopped
true.
on.
Yeah, I've
when he
seen a
hopped on
lot
the
of that
track.
lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, we don't have to be in the same room, but when you are in the same room, that synergy
Yeah, the energy's
Mm.
different too. Yeah.
is different,
Mm.
So I would love to create with more artists from different states, like being in the same room, writing together, producing something together. Like I would love that experience for
Yeah.
sure. But for now, working remotely is okay because you could still produce.
Yeah, you
some
can still
bangers,
make
you know?
out tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, too, it's like you can always like it's just playing take it away, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like you just make
Yeah.
the time in your calendar to like really make the
Yeah.
project happen,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
and then it happens.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're not that closed off,
Yeah.
even
I
though
mean,
we're
my
far
song,
away.
My song "Losing You for Now," my producer that helped. So I composed it. So I composed it, meaning that I wrote the piano for it. I
Mm.
figured out how the piano was gonna sound. I made the melody, the lyrics for the whole song. But I found a producer through Fiverr, a website really really good for just trying to find people to help create with you. One of my producers I found, he's based in India. So I
Yeah.
was
Oh,
working
wow.
with him out of
Yeah.
India. He was working in India time zone. We're not in the same studio, So
Yeah.
he had to work off of my voice memos that I sent him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we were able to produce such a great track through just that remote connection,
Right.
I can only imagine how much better it would be if you're actually in the studio in
Right.
person
Yeah,
with
yeah,
it,
yeah.
Yeah.
and that's something I definitely want to strive for. with any producers that I work with, but I understand that work smarter, not harder.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can develop and produce a track remotely and have it still be a banger.
Yeah.
If you don't have to travel, if I don't have to travel to India just to do the song, like,
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
had the money
That
to
would
do
be
it,
rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course.
that'd be cool, But that's rough on on my pockets.
Yeah,
yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
hey, babe, I'm gonna go to India to produce this one song.
Yeah.
And especially if the return is not outweighing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So when you come up to like Minnesota, like for you did for this weekend,
yeah.
how much of that is work and how much is that is just relaxing, like family vacation? Because I bet, I mean, you're doing this, you got shows
yeah,
after shows.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
it sounds like work to me.
yeah, like
It's like a
Yeah.
lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said earlier, it's a balance, especially with this weekend because there's so many festivities going on.
Yeah.
yeah,
I told my wife because my wife is from Minnesota,
Okay.
so
Okay.
her family's Minnesota. So I told her, I'm like, hey, this weekend I'm gonna be having like a lot of shows,
be
stuff,
busy,
things that
yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
do, right? So this is a weekend where I'm gonna be busy with shows and whatnot. But like for this other time, for the other days that we're not doing anything, like hang out with family, spend time
Yeah.
with your
Mm.
friends, so just being able to kind of balance everything out.
yeah,
But yeah, as far as my stay in Minnesota so far, with just within the last, I would say like 2 days, it's definitely been more like business.
yeah,
But also, just having fun and making the most out of the
Yeah.
experience too, because
yeah,
J4 only happens like once a
Yeah.
year.
right, yeah.
And,
It's a
and
big opportunity for you
yeah.
to network and
Yeah.
connect with people.
because the more you network, the more opportunities become your way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I'm really just excited to network and meet new people. Even the promoters that are hosting the
Yeah.
shows, like getting a good face to face with them,
yeah,
developing good relationships with them. It puts you on the map for
Yeah.
considerations, future
Yeah.
considerations.
And
Yeah.
when you say business, we say business, but you clearly obviously enjoy what you do too. So
Yeah,
so
yeah,
business
yeah.
is like the best is when you can blend a little bit of like what
Yeah.
you like
Oh,
to
yeah, for
do
sure.
and business all together
sure.
and then
For sure.
and then just like you said, balance. You know that we're here, you're doing something
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
business,
yeah,
but then you
yeah.
also like, shit, I'm meeting people, I'm enjoying,
yeah,
I'm networking, I'm
yeah.
becoming friends with these
Yeah.
people, we're partying a little bit,
Yeah, yeah,
we're
yeah, yeah.
performing. So it's
Yeah.
like it's all in one. I think the biggest thing is probably just for the wife because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
sorry, I gotta go do this and that. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part probably to
It's
manage.
business for sure, but it's definitely it's fun.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
It's a lifestyle that I would love to. If I could do music, and that would pay my bills. Make if I can make more with music than what I'm making right now,
Mhm.
would I choose? Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
I wake
yeah.
up every morning just to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I see you wearing the Sabaidee.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you
yeah.
were you there? Were you
Yeah,
did
I
you
was
perform
performing.
just like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I performed at Sabaidee.
Yeah.
It was like about a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Tell us
performed at
about that
Sabaidee.
experience because like that's huge, right? That's like
Yeah.
one of our biggest like Southeast Asian music
Yeah.
festival.
Yeah.
To be like, how did it feel to like be invited to that, to be a
Yeah.
part of that, to perform
Hon-
there? How was the crowd? Like,
Yeah, honestly, the crowd was always amazing over there, and my experience. I mean, it was just because I'm coming out of my 8-year hiatus from
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
Right? I'm having to really grind again and really connect and really
right.
make these relationships with people in the Hmong industry or within Sabaidee. So I was like a wide-eyed kid, like when I was at Sabaidee, like meeting all the other artists from overseas, saying what's up to them, but my experience was really based on that as far as like my enjoyment because I was just able to meet so many other talented artists,
Yeah.
and also just get to meet the people behind Sabaidee and just see everything come into fruition, with
Yeah.
the dream that they had of putting on one of the biggest Southeast Asian music festivals
Yeah.
in the U.S., not just Cali, in the U.S.
Yeah.
Come into fruition and just seeing different people of all ethnicities, whether it's Cambodian, Viet, Lao, like there's even like some Hispanic people that came out, some white people that came out, people that just coming to experience the culture. And I think it was a beautiful thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my experience was amazing, man. I would definitely
That's
I'd
freaking
do it again.
awesome.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm glad that now we're doing one, our kind of our own Hmong music fest
Yeah,
here
yeah.
in Minnesota,
Yeah.
just because like we have all like so many talented
Yeah, for
artists
sure.
with like such great like Like it just makes sense.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah, for sure.
And I've always wondered why we haven't already had it. Just because.
I think, a long time ago, probably like 2013, 2014, we had what was called the HMF, which was Hmong Music Festival, and that was in Fresno.
Okay.
That was widely successful. Um, as far as that event, when I attended, that's actually
Yeah.
where I met David
Okay.
when he first came out in like 2013. But I'm very very happy to see that our Hmong community with Hmong promoters, they're wanting to do just like a Hmong music festival that are showcasing our very talented Hmong artists
Yeah.
to put on a show for the Hmong community. Because
Yeah.
I honestly feel like our Hmong community is the most supportive
Yeah.
out of all the
Yeah.
other out of all the other Asian ethnicities
Yeah.
that I can see right now.
I,
Because
Yeah.
I would say that too. I
Because
always say that. Yeah. Go
the
ahead.
numbers speaks for itself.
Mhm.
As far as like if you just go on YouTube, and you see there's like so many Hmong artists that are reaching that million views, like
Yep.
it's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're not like if you're in the mainstream music industry, right, and obviously you have like a record label with you and that can do all your marketing and stuff like that, you'll get to millions for sure.
Yeah.
But if you're an independent
Yeah.
music artist that is trying to make waves in your community, it might be a lot harder if you're in like the Caucasian community or the
Yeah.
African
Yeah.
American community,
Yeah.
because they already have these established artists in the
Right.
mainstream,
Right.
right? So with our Hmong community, with them being so supportive, um, I really feel like our community is the most supportive when it comes to uh, any kind of Hmong art, as
Mhm.
far as like
Yeah.
Hmong dancing or Hmong music. But
Yeah.
definitely, because I can relate to it, Hmong music for sure.
Oh yeah.
Just because, I mean, the number speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say that like in business, like a lot of times like if you're a monk person, like because we're right at this like really cool point where it's like we're starting to gain more and more money. There's a
Yeah.
lot more and more money involved in the monk community.
Yeah.
People are doing better and better,
Yeah.
and so there's a lot more money like floating around.
Yeah.
And then we've been starving for this like art form. We've been starving for our own music. We've been
Yeah.
starving for like our own businesses, and we want to support
Yeah.
ourselves because like I think that does get to a point where our population grows so big where um, maybe that differs. Whereas I think maybe in some of the other Asian communities, their numbers are so
Yeah.
vast,
Yeah.
and it kind of gets lost in that. But we're right at this sweet point where it's like if you do anything, Hmong people will fuck with you
Yeah.
automatically,
Yeah.
no matter what, just
Yeah.
because you're Hmong.
Yeah.
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 And so I think we're in this very cool like sweet spot.
Yeah.
And so it's like really cool to see like everybody take full advantage of that. And
Yeah.
plus, like with social media and everything, like there's by no means like everyone should jump on it.
Yeah.
And there's no gatekeepers now,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You can just freaking
I mean-
hop on YouTube and put out music.
I'm gonna say this: Hmong people live on social media, man. So
Yeah,
utilize that social media if you're
Yeah.
a creator, whether it's like if you're a content creator, whether you're a musician, you're a dancer, you're trying to push your content out. Like, Hmong people be on Facebook, Hmong people
Yep.
be on YouTube, Hmong people
Yeah.
be on Instagram. So utilize those social media outlets and really push your content and brand out there.
yeah.
And you definitely will get some followers. For sure.
Yeah.
And TikTok. That's the
Yeah.
one thing.
With that being said, how important is it for a Hmong artist to be able to kind of speak or perform in Hmong?
I mean, if you're trying to make Hmong music, right, you have to be able to sing in Hmong or essentially speak in
Right.
Hmong, right? Like for me, I'm not the most fluent in Hmong as far as like
Yeah.
being able to hold, like, actually, I could hold a conversation with like an OG and whatnot, but when
Yeah.
it comes to my my lip, like I'm very limited with my vocabulary, my Hmong
Yeah.
vocabulary, like when I'm speaking. But if I'm writing, like I can,
Yeah.
can, put
Yeah, because I
whatever-
was just about to say I wouldn't be able to tell that from
yeah,
because you sing.
Yeah.
I think majority of the songs I've heard is
yeah.
Hmong
But
songs.
to answer your question, like how important is it to like be able to speak Hmong or sing in Hmong? If you're trying to release Hmong music, then
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta-
It's
Yeah,
singing
yeah,
day.
yeah. And
Unless you're just a Hmong art, like you're an artist that is Hmong that happens to make, like mainstream music, and you're singing in English, which is not an issue either,
Yeah.
because I have
Yeah.
English songs.
Yeah, because I think it does just open up your potential audience because there's the overseas audience is like
Yeah.
pretty huge.
Yeah.
We had Pung on here and he talked about being able to go over there and sing
Oh yeah,
and
for sure. Yeah,
and
Pong's
so
a homie.
to do like to be able to perform in Hmong and to be able to do songs in
Yeah.
Hmong, like now you open it up to a a huge audience base.
I think
overseas.
in a nutshell, when you love your community, they'll love you back.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
yeah.
give. Yeah, they give you what you give.
Yeah,
You know, it's a
because-
give and take.
Because if I was trying to cater to this other community,
Mm.
right? It might take a really, really long time for them to really like fuck with me.
Right.
But if I cater to the community that I grew up like, that's my identity first of all.
Yeah,
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 Right. They'll be able to relate with you, right? But if you love on the community, they'll love you back.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you can use that as the base foundation to reach other communities,
Right.
And I feel like that's kind of what I wanted to do with my song when I released "Losing You for Now,"
Yeah.
because it's a future-based, mainstream future-based type of song. I think it really surprised a lot of Hmong people, but then also just not Hmong people, people of different ethnicities, Asian ethnicities. That like, hell, man, like there's like an Asian dude, or there's like a Hmong dude that made a
Mhm.
future-based song,
Right.
and,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, one of my songs was actually featured on the I'm Peaking podcast, which was like
Oh yeah.
one of the biggest, like, well, no, the biggest like rave
EDM
talk
podcast,
show
right?
podcast.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
that got a lot of showings too. So yeah, I mean it's possible for sure,
Yeah.
But I'm always, like when I first released that song and people were asking me in my post when I made it, I'm like, you know what, like I want to show our Hmong community that our music can transcend just beyond the Hmong
Right.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I want my music to only, reach the heights to where like I don't want to serve my Hmong community anymore. No,
Right,
no. I'm
right.
taking my Hmong community with me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm gonna rep Hmong every song that every
Yeah.
mainstream song that I do that happens to get some noise, right? Like I'm repping my Hmong people for sure.
Yeah.
Because I want
It's
to, I want
beautiful.
them to, I want the little kids to know that like it's possible, it's
Yeah, yeah.
possible. Like you don't have to be stuck in this box.
Right.
Right.
You can be well versed in multiple areas.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, music's the art form, right? So it's
Yeah.
like you can,
Yeah.
it touches everybody in their own ways.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at the time. I know you got to go perform here. You got to
Yeah.
go get ready,
yeah.
and you got to go do all these other things. You still got a long day ahead of you,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
started it here. I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming here
Of course,
first
man. Of course,
to
man.
start your day here with us. That's awesome. This video will probably reach a lot of people too that watch us. So thank you for coming here, and
Yes, sir.
just talk before we sign off.
Yeah.
Where people can find you,
Yeah, for sure.
and where you'll be. This is not being released today. So
Yeah.
where can people find you
Yeah,
yeah.
on the internet?
Yeah, so you can find me on Johnny Low on Facebook, Johnny Low, YouTube, Johnny Low. I should be probably the first suggestion to come up. On Spotify, Johnny Low as well. For my Instagram, it's Johnny IO, and then for my TikTok, it's official Johnny Low. And let's see, if you want to book me for a show, you can just contact me through Facebook or Instagram DM. But my email for booking is booking.johnnylow@gmail. But yeah, I mean, pretty sure you can just find me Johnny Low on all social medias, except Twitter. I'm not really on Twitter like
Yeah.
Okay.
that.
Yeah, well, hey, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you
man.
starting the day off here.
Yes.
We know you got a busy day.
Yeah.
I hope that this reaches a lot of people that probably didn't know about you,
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure, for
and
sure.
hopefully it reaches a lot of people that also already know you and just
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
know more about
Yeah.
your journey. That's what we
Yeah.
always trying to bring out and highlight who are you, what's your journey like, and we just want people to find out, get to know the artist more, just like we're trying to find out who you
Yeah,
are too.
yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think that's all I got.
Yeah. No. Thank you for coming through, because we hit you up kind of super last minute.
No, that's all good,
It's
man.
been probably a month, and
Yeah.
so yeah, man, you came through.
Yeah, no,
and
thank you
on
for
a tight schedule
yeah.
too.
Thank you for providing this platform. Because this is actually the first podcast I've ever done.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah.
And I love podcasts. I watch podcasts like every day when I
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
That's like my background music is
Yeah.
podcasts.
Yeah.
So it was really, I was really honored to be able to come here and speak with you guys. So
Much love,
thank you
man.
for providing the platform.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. We'll sign off and we'll catch you guys on the future next
sir.
No Eggs podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
Check out
Peace
Johnny
out, y'all.
Low. Hey, thanks for coming through, man.
Yes,
I really
sir.
appreciate